What is up, everybody? You are very welcome along to Sunday night's late night agenda. I hope that you're all well. As you can see, it's just little old me here tonight. Actually, I'm going to drop my seat down a tiny bit. I feel a little bit too high. Just little old me here tonight, so I hope you're all well. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I will, of course, get stuck into the Mohamed Salah stuff. We'll have a little look ahead to the Benfica game. We'll chat about the game against Watford yesterday and anything, of course, that you guys want to chat about. Before we get stuck into it, my friends, before we really get underway, got to do the obligatory ad read. We are being brought to you all this month with thanks to our friends at Surfshark, all the late night agenda news shows. Surfshark is an app and browser extension that will allow you to unlock the world's largest Netflix libraries and browse them entirely anonymously by using the most secure and the best VPN protocols currently on the market. It'll keep you safe in a bait if you're out a bait. What's bait? It'll keep you safe and when you're out and about. That's what I'm trying to say. When you're out and about. There we go. We'll go again. This is why I shouldn't go ad hoc and I should just read the actual ad read, because when I'm left to my own devices, I get a little bit cocky, a bit arrogant, and it all goes tits up. But Surfshark does secure your data with industry-leading measures, the most secure VPN protocols, really easy to install. An idiot like me has actually installed it, so I can actually speak from experience here. And you can get 3 months additional free and 83% off, meaning you get 15 months for the price of 12 using the Anfield Agenda link in the description or the code Anfield Agenda, all one word, at checkout. Yes, thank you to you guys. But look, straight into it. What do we want to talk about? What do we want to anything particular pop up over the last 24 hours that might have us a little bit happy? Yeah, look, you know what the story is. People are going to be coming in and thinking that, again, this is me saying it. I haven't said a word. I haven't uttered a word to anybody. Even in our Discord group, people have been asking me, Craig, is it true? Craig, is it agreed? And I've just been saying, look, I'm keeping stum. I'm trying to be fair to everybody because I realise when we said it previously, it didn't happen straight away and people were rightly critical. I mean, I've got to be fair about these things. So look, what we can say is it has been reported high and wide this morning in various newspapers, the Star, the Mirror. Actually, you know what? Let's just read what it says in them and then we'll go from there. So look, we'll start off. Let me bring up these articles here on my screen. Right, we'll start off with the Star. And the Star have said, Mohamed Salah, ace is the set to sign on for Reds for life. And it goes on to talk about Mohamed Salah deciding that Liverpool is where he wants to be, that he's willing to come down a bit in his wage demands, and that a deal will be done, and that he will sign on for the rest of his career at Liverpool. The next one was from the Mirror, or the Express. This one's from, and Salah says, Salah, deal me in for life. Again, similar theme. You'll see it in the Mirror as well. Basically just saying that Mohamed Salah is going to extend his contract at Liverpool Football Club. Now, look, one thing I can say is, and I can say it now, of course, and I've said it previously as well, even when we were told that it was signed and sealed, that it was all done, agreed, everything was good to go, even when I came back to the person that sent it to me and I said, look, mate, nothing's being announced yet. He said, trust me, this is going to happen. And I always say to you guys, sometimes things don't happen in football when we expect or when we want or within the time frame that we believe. But even over the past couple of weeks, when I kept messaging the person, they said to me, I'm telling you, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So look, I don't want to say anything else. I'm not going to try and pretend that I have information I don't have. All I can say is the person that told me has always been really consistent that it was going to happen. Most importantly, though, if it does happen, that's all we give a shit about. I don't care if I got it first, or you got it first, or they got it first. The most important factor in all of this will be Mohamed Salah committing the future to Liverpool Football Club. After that, I think we can all breathe a massive, massive sigh of release. Sigh of relief. I'm too excited. So look, over to you guys in the chat. Let me know anything you want to talk about. If I can add anything to this conversation, I will, of course, but I'm very mindful that people are emotionally invested in this, as of course am I, and I don't want to overstep any marks or anything like that, because we do honestly, we try our best to make sure that we bring you nothing but concrete stuff, because I'm a fan, first and foremost, same as you guys watching now, and this is news we've all been waiting for. So I'm sure an official announcement will be forthcoming from the club. And look, I'm over the moon with it. I am. I'm over the moon with it. People are asking about prices in the chat. Again, this isn't my information. I've always been really honest and said I never knew about length of contract. I never knew about wages. Never. Never knew. Never been sent any numbers on them. All I've seen is what you guys have seen reported, which is that apparently, and I have to say apparently because again, we don't know, Mohamed Salah was roughly looking for 500 grand a week. Could be true, could be not true. But what seems to be fairly consistent at the minute across media is that somewhere around 400 grand is on the table from FSG and Liverpool. And if that's the case, if FSG are willing to pony up 400 grand a week for Mohamed Salah, you would hope that we can reach an agreement and that all parties will be happy. Because, look, it's a significant amount of money. £400,000 a week, if that's the case, is a significant amount of money. And it's probably at the very upper level of what I think is fair. I thought 500 grand, if that's the number, was too high. I thought 250, 300 grand was too low. So 350, 400, if that works, happy days. Now, what this does do is put a lot of people in an awkward situation, because I've seen a lot of football fans, a lot of Liverpool fans over the last 2-3 weeks say, just get rid of him, sell him, this is getting ridiculous, just sell him, sell him, sell him. I haven't been one of them. I have been annoyed by the situation, like all of you. Annoyed from the sense of we just wanted the good news, not from the sense of I'm annoyed at Mo or I'm annoyed at FS, just because we want it to happen, because we know how important Mo is to our squad. And look, if this does get announced soon enough over the coming days or a week or whatever, great boost for the end of the season. Great boost going into the quarter-final of the Champions League against Benfica. Great boost ahead of the game maybe against Manchester City at the Etihad next weekend. And fair play. Fair play to everybody involved, because in these things, in negotiations, it's all about leverage. Salah has great leverage at the club, obviously, with the goals he scored, but FSG also know what the market is for players around the world and who has money to splash around and who they're looking at. So compromise is fair, and 400 grand a week, if that's the wage, I'm over the moon about it. It's fantastic, and I hope, and I'm sure that you guys are as well. So look, let's open up the conversation now. I'll go over to the chat and see what you guys feel, see what you guys have to say about it. One thing I will say is, though, and I do like to get a little dig in at Fabrizio from time to time, because I'm fed up of the destabilising nonsense, but once again, he said not going to happen at the minute. He starts saying he's looking at Juventus, he's very interested. I said no, Mohamed Salah will sign on at Liverpool. I got ridiculed for it. People went and worshipped at the altar of Fabrizio Romano. Up to you. All I'm saying is I'm right, he was wrong. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to rub it in anymore. Maybe a little bit. Fuck it, a little bit. Right, let's go. What have we got to say? 400k was what Salah is worth. Hopefully it helps his confidence. Is it 100% true or not? Velox, excuse me. What I'd say to you right now, mate, is treat everything with suspicion. Don't take it as nailed on from me, from anybody else, until you see Mohamed Salah, his agents, the club, smiling, holding up a contract, or him signing that fake piece of paper that they always wheel out. Until then, mate, just enjoy yourself. Just wait for the news and just enjoy the season, really, because what a season we're having. How was the holiday? It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, great. Really happy about it. Any news on Carvalho? Yes. Again, the news that I brought you on January the 18th is that Fabio Carvalho, not Fabrizio. I'm Fabrizio on the fucking brain now. Fabio Carvalho will be a Liverpool player at the end of the season. Similar thing, I won't say I know a number. I've heard and read 10 million compensation for Fulham. I'm sure you guys have read that number as well. Truth is, I don't know exactly what the number is, but I was told at the time that it was 100% going to happen. And I think the clue for all of us in the stuff for Carvalho was the Nico Williams loan to Fulham, because he wasn't in the negotiation in January originally. It was supposed to be Liverpool going in for Fabio Carvalho. Fulham owed us money for Harry Wilson, and that was being negotiated back and forth. But then at the last minute, and it took all of us by surprise, we knew Nico wanted minutes ahead of the World Cup, or the World Cup qualifiers with Wales. So that was the shock. But it was, think of it this way, it was a goodwill gesture from the club. Obviously, it was a good move for Nico as well, because Fulham absolutely flying at the top of the Championship, playing some great football. Mitrovic smashing goal scoring records, and they'll be coming back up. So it was a good move for Nico, but it was also good for the club. It was good for the club because Nico got minutes and we got to pave the way. Now, look, the interesting part of this is it was always in Fulham's interest to move him on if he wouldn't sign a new contract with Fulham to an English club. And the reason being is if he moved to Dortmund, Juventus, Bayern Munich, anywhere else in Europe, they would have got a pittance in compensation. I think somewhere between 250, 500 grand. But because he's going to move to another English club, much like when we signed Harvey Elliott, we signed Danny Ings from Burnley, a tribunal would have had to take place to sort out the compensation that Fulham would have been due for his footballing education, his coaching, and turning him into the player that he is now. And that, as we know only too well, can run into millions and millions of pounds. And we really seem to get a record fees that we have to pay, because Danny Ings was a record for a tribunal. Harvey Elliott was a record for a player under 18, I believe, for a tribunal. So look, it's brilliant. It's great news. Carvalho will come in. From what I've been briefed and what I've read, it looks like the future for Fabio Carvalho would be in a false nine style role. Wait and see what happens. I don't know if that adds or lessens the likelihood of Bobby Firmino remaining at the club. I've no idea. But I tell you what I'm interested to find out about, my friends, and that is Sadio Mane right now. Because look, it's brilliant news for all of us if Mo signs on a new deal. Fantastic. But you do feel something will have to give. Will that something be Sadio Mane, who, again, it was in the media in the last week that perhaps Sadio and his representatives were looking at the Mo situation, waiting to see how it was going to be resolved, and then deciding if they should ask for similar money or if they should look to move on. Now, what we do know, or what has been reported widely, is that there has been no conversations between Sadio Mane and his representatives with Liverpool Football Club over a new contract at Liverpool. So hopefully we start to see the future being mapped out over the coming week or two and finding out who's staying, who's going. But look, first and foremost, the Mohamed Salah stuff it's great. It is great. And I'm delighted. I'm over the moon. But I'm waiting, like you guys, for it to be absolutely confirmed by the club so that we can fully celebrate and we know exactly how long he's staying for. I frankly don't really give a shit about how much he earns, because if the club are happy to pay it, if we can afford to pay it, if Mo is happy, a happy Mo, a happy club, a happy Klopp, a happy team should make for a good end to the season. So, all good. Nkunku was mentioned today, said Stephen O'Connor. I haven't had a chance, Stephen, to read through anything non-Mohamed Salah related today with regards to Liverpool news, buddy, but Christopher Nkunku is somebody that I think will be attracting a lot of interest. I know Manchester United have been keeping an eye on him. He's been linked to Liverpool for a while. I know a lot of you guys have said to me in our Discord group and stuff as well that you'd love to see Christopher Nkunku come into the club. We know that the style of football that Leipzig play is a style of football that Jurgen Klopp admires, and a style of football that's not a million miles away from the style that we play. Now, look, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of Leipzig since the manager moved on to Bayern Munich, so I won't really be able to tell you. I know that it wasn't going too well under Jesse Marsch's reign when he moved from Salzburg to Leipzig, but they absolutely battered Borussia Dortmund yesterday in Dortmund, and Christopher Nkunku is a good player. So, look, I've got no idea what the story is there for the summer, but he is a good player, definitely. How confident are you that it will happen, said Keane? Are we talking about the Mohamed Salah situation, Keane? If we are talking about the Mohamed Salah situation, my confidence level would be... I don't want to be ridiculous here, so let's try and be fair. 85%? 90%? Something like... I said it to you guys in Discord, and I know a lot of people be looking at this stream and going, you could be talking absolute pony. And look, fair enough, I always take criticisms on the chin, but ask the people in our Discord group what I said after the Mohamed Salah announcement that we made on the channel, and then that was... we had the Fabrizio stuff and we had his agent, we had all that stuff. I said to the people in our Discord group, they said, Craig, what's going on? And I said, all I can tell you is that the person that told me that Mohamed Salah will stay at Liverpool are still absolutely adamant that he will be staying at Liverpool and that deal will be signed. That's all. That's all I said, and that's all I know. So let's wait and see. You're right to wait for the club, though. You're absolutely spot on to wait for the club to announce it, and then we'll all have a proper old party, a proper old jolly up on Anfield agenda. As Connor said there in the chat, a lot of the papers running stories today, and you might get one paper running a story, chancing their arm a little bit, trying to get some clicks or some views, or have a journalist that was briefed by a certain person. But to have 2, 3, 4, 5 publications going with a story, I'd say we can be fairly confident that there's rumours, there's truth to this story. Now look, people might get the details slightly wrong. Some people might go too high, too low. Deal might be a bit different. We don't really care, do we? Let's be honest. As long as Mo signs on the dotted line, we're all happy. Now, one thing as a fan that always played in the back of my mind about Mohamed Salah, and all that's been really spoken about from us fans is the money. But there's another aspect to Mo signing on to Liverpool that has always played on my mind. I don't believe that Mo will have signed on, or will have agreed to sign on, unless he knew that the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years of his career are going to be filled with a squad and a manager that will help him to achieve what he wants to achieve. And look, it's no secret, Mohamed Salah would love to win a Ballon d'Or. We would love to see Mohamed Salah win a Ballon d'Or. And to do that, he needs to obviously have the quality of teammates around him. So my next question is, do we think, and I don't know, which is why I'm asking for a consensus, do we think that maybe there's been a little word about the managerial situation? Do we think that maybe... Look, basically what I'm getting at here is, do you think there's any chance Kloppo stays on past 2024? Because I wonder, and I don't know, but I do wonder about it, because if Mo signs on, if the gaffer signed on, that would be the news that would be most pleasing to me, is the manager situation. Like, if Kloppo stayed on for even another year or two, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. And to just give you a reason or an idea as to why I'd be so happy about it, you guys know what Klopp has achieved. You know how good of a coach he is. Mark posted something into our Discord group that was, I think must have been on Match of the Day or something like that. And it's most wins after 250 games as a Premier League manager. And this list is a who's who of top quality managers. Fourth place on the list was Arsene Wenger with 146 wins after 250 games as Arsenal manager. Second was Sir Alex Ferguson with Third was Sir Alex Ferguson with 152 wins after 250 games as Premier League manager. And this is the one that surprised me, because I thought he would have been top. In second place on that list was Jose Mourinho. And you remember the unbeaten streak that Jose Mourinho went on with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Like, they were winning games for fun. Jose Mourinho was second on the list with 158 games. Who's top of the list, my friends? It ain't Pep Guardiola. It is Jurgen Norbert Klopp with 160 wins out of his first 250 Liverpool games. And that is an unbelievable stat for Jurgen, an unbelievable stat for us as Liverpool fans, because I've long believed, you guys as well I'm sure, that nobody else in the world would be more fitting to manage this football club than Jurgen Klopp. Pep's a great coach, no doubt about it, but Jurgen Klopp is the coach that works for Liverpool Football Club, and that stat right there blew me away, because I would have bet my life on the answer being Mourinho. I would have. Who do we need to sign? We'll get to that in a few minutes. Look, this could be an old school stream, by the way. Who's up for sitting here for a while and chatting with me? Because I don't want to go anywhere. I'm buzzing right now. And I want to stay on for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Let's go old school. Let's go back to the early Anfield agenda days tonight. Rachel said, I did hear something the other day about Klopp. Oh, how amazing would that be? Like, I know Mohamed Salah, if and when he signs on, will be a huge boost for all of us. Huge boost for the players, the morale, the fan base, everything. But if Kloppo penned a new deal, that would be the cherry on the nipple, as I like to say. Klopp could give us a decade. There's that part of it as well, Stephen. The idea of Klopp leaving after 9 years with my with my Weird Al brain not liking, unround things. So 10 years just seems to be lovely, doesn't it? So even if you sign on for one more year, that'll be amazing. Announcement tonight, possible. I've no idea, mate. I don't want to lie to you. I wouldn't have a clue when we might see a possible announcement. Not a clue. I would imagine right now the focus for Kloppo and the lads is purely on Benfica on Tuesday night. I mean, Dejan Lovren even posted something with a thumbs up and a signing thing on Twitter, I believe, yesterday. Someone sent me a screenshot of that. Now, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know. But yeah, there we go. Craig, move shuffle for the announcement. Oh, I don't know, Liam. We limit them move shuffles these days. We limit the money. Do you think Klopp is at the level of Bob Paisley? No, I don't. Most successful manager in our club's history, Paisley. But I would say that I think the level of competition right now in the Premier League, from managers, from clubs, with the money in the game, I think it's more difficult. I don't think we'll ever see, in my lifetime, a Liverpool manager surpass what Bob Paisley did at Liverpool. I mean, phenomenal. So I don't want to say he's on the same level, but look, all I can talk about is my lifetime. And he's the greatest manager that I've ever witnessed in my lifetime at this football club. And yeah, at this football club, because I don't want to go and open that box of frogs about talking about of all time. What have we got? Jamrock said, then the club falls apart. Man, we lack critical thinking skills to think of a world outside currently what it is. I don't know where you're going with that, Miel Mucker. Jamrock, are you talking about not being able to think past Klopp? Because I'm sure the owners are certainly succession planning. Because look, it's no secret that when managers of the ilk of Arsene Wenger, Sir Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho in his early days, Jurgen Klopp, and when Pep leaves Manchester City, you know, replacing those managers is nigh on impossible. But what I get the feeling of with what's going on at Liverpool is that the next manager to come into Liverpool will know what's what. They'll know what the club expect. They'll know what the fans expect. They'll know the style of football to play. And the more I think this through, I get the feeling that it could be Pep Linders. If Klopp moves on, that will be our next manager. So I love the idea of the old-fashioned boot room mentality of bringing people through. And I'm not comfortable yet that I don't think Steven Gerrard will be ready to manage Liverpool when the time 2024 comes around. I'm sorry, I just don't. Not yet. Maybe next season if he gets Villa up into a top 6 position, perhaps. But right now, I'd rather Pep Linders. Look, there are pros and cons to all of this. Pep Linders is an excellent coach. Thought the world of by Jurgen Klopp, everybody at the club, the players as well. We got a little glimpse into his mind when he was running articles on The Athletic during the Euros where, you know, he was giving tactical analysis and breakdowns, and my God, I thought I knew about football till I listened or read what that man had to say, and I was blown away by the level of detail, by the intricacy, by the knowledge that the man has. But when you're a manager of a club like Liverpool, Manchester United, you have to have a gravitas, you have to have an ability to attract players to the club. Now, the flip side of that argument is perhaps you say to me, well, look, Craig, it's Liverpool Football Club in a healthy state, winning trophies recently, that should surely be enough to attract players. Could well be. Absolutely. I would say there's an argument to be made about that one. But if you flip it and you talk about Stevie G, you have the other side of the story. The gravitas is there, the attraction is there, the name recognition is there. That would work for sponsors, it would work for the club. But you do have to ask, has he got the tactical analysis as a coach? And I don't know the answer to that because I don't get to work with Steven Gerrard on a daily basis. He clearly has something about him if he delivered what he did at Rangers and, you know, seems to be doing quite a good job there at Aston Villa right now as well. And I like the cut of Stevie G's jib. I like that he's a straight talker. I like that he will be forthright and frank in his assessment of football. So look, win-win in my eyes. Whether it's Stevie G, whether it's Pep Linders, or maybe whether it's somebody new that comes in. They're still not going to be Jurgen Klopp in my eyes, though. Can we agree Stevie isn't looking as good a manager to weather the storm after Jurgen leaves, said Liam? I don't know if he's good enough, Liam, but I just don't think he's ready, if I'm being honest with you. It's so tough, man. Look, if we were in a position now under Klopp where let's say we were finishing third, we won a domestic competition in the last couple of years, and the club was kind of middling, but we're fairly regularly playing Champions League football, I would say, yeah, bring Stevie in, and you would hope that the morale boost and the fans getting behind it would help push the players on. But we're talking about after Klopp leaves, a man who has transformed the football club, a man who has given us back the identity that we were lacking for a while, a man who's galvanised the entire fan base and put the football club right at the pinnacle of world football. So yeah, big job. But you know what? As I like to say to myself, that's not today's headache, Craig. Today's headache is different. That's a down the line headache. Would you fancy Zidane? No. Not at Liverpool. No. Right, so Sudarshan, how are you, my friend? Lovely to see you in. Said Craigo, might be a weird question. I love you called me Craigo, by the way. I mean, bonus points for that one. I was watching your old videos again, and of course I watched the Madrid 19 final. I couldn't recognise the two gentlemen that you and Connor were with. Can you please tell me? Dave's LFC chats and Brian Morrissey. They were the two people that were in the video with us, I think, if my memory is correct, of that video. Craig said, Scotty, what does Mo get at the moment? Base salary, I believe, of around 220 at the minute, Scotty. Somewhere 2 to 220. But I have no idea of the bonus structure that he might be currently on. I haven't got a clue, mate. Villa will not have a top half finish for over 10 years. He's doing well so far. I just need to carry on and improve. Yeah, look, he's doing well. But you know what else I've noticed is fair play to Villa, because they're giving him the tools to succeed, Steven Gerrard. They got him Coutinho in, they brought him in the left back that he wanted, and they are backing him when they're bringing in players, Aston Villa. So they're definitely giving Steven a chance, or Stevie G a chance to succeed there. Craig, have you seen Darren Farley's Gerrard impression? Oh, of course, yeah. I've seen a lot of Darren Farley's work. He's brilliant. L Scouser 8 said, remember staying up dead late with the Carvalho transfer? It was good that so many ups and downs and then it was off. Seems so long ago. Yeah, man, that was January, and again, the same situation happened actually with Carvalho. At the time, I got it on January the 18th, and I sent it to our Discord group, and it's happened to me a few times. I got to be honest with you, it's happened to me a few times where I've been given a little bit of transfer news, and I don't get much. Being really honest, I don't get much. But it's happened a few times. I've gotten 4 bits of information that I've publicly spoken about. And on 3 of those occasions, including the Mohamed Salah one, it has happened, but it has happened a little bit longer. So, like, the first one I ever got was Virgil van Dijk. I was told that was going to happen in the summer. We all believed it was. In the end, it didn't. It happened in January. Fabio Carvalho, I was told in January 18th it was going to happen in the January window. Goalposts were moved, and it will happen this summer. Mohamed Salah, I was told a few weeks ago it was going to happen. Hasn't happened at the time, will happen now. So sometimes you just got to play the waiting game, which is why I'm always very reticent to come on and just say, oh, I know this, because we get told a lot of stuff that turns out to be absolute manure, like a lot of it. And 99% of the stuff you get sent is either people chancing their arm, people trying to set you up to say, look, I work with this, I have an agent friend this, I was told this. And I hope you come on and say it so they can go on social media and go, I set you up, that's absolute horseshit, you're a fraud. Happens all the time. What about Nagelsmann? Good coach, very good coach. I remember Nagelsmann from his time at Hoffenheim, obviously doing really well now at Bayern Munich. But I don't see him going anywhere for the foreseeable. Look, 2024, that's a long time away in football. I don't know what Bayern's situation will be at that point. But yes, Julian Nagelsmann, definitely a coach that we should be keeping an eye on. Definitely. He's a very talented coach. Addison said, hi Craig, what are your thoughts on the boxing last night? Savannah Marshall, I mean, beautiful left hook. Night after that landed. Florian Marku, again, was getting outboxed, probably, but found a way, stopped it, game on, called out Amir Khan afterwards. But yeah, it was good. Well, like, I enjoy them small hall shows as well. Could you please talk transfers when you have the chance? I think I've pretty much spoken transfers, my friend, for the first 25 minutes of this, but we will happily go back over them. Here, I want to talk to you guys about something at the minute, because one of the things that you will know about this channel is that we're huge advocates for fans like ourselves that don't get to go to a lot of games, or fans that are all around the world in remote locations. When we started this channel, what we wanted to do was reach out to those type of fans. But I feel very sad for those type of fans today, and let me tell you why. So let me just get this on my screen. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Liverpool and Manchester United will be playing a friendly in Bangkok. So Liverpool are going to do the usual Thailand, Australia pre-season tour. One of those games is going to be against Manchester United in Bangkok. Brilliant. So far, no issues. I love that the club go to America, that they go to Australia, that they go to Asia. I love that the club do that. But when I read down to the comment section on The Athletic, where fans from that part of the world were speaking about this, my heart sank a little bit. And let me tell you why. So this is a comment I'm going to read out from a gentleman called Simon that commented on The Athletic. He said, "It's causing loads of anger over here in Bangkok due to the price. Very cheapest tickets are £115, with the most expensive ticket being nearly £450. It's a total scam." Just, then he went another commentator goes on to say $650 was the price that he was being quoted to sit in a stand that he went and watched the Thai national team play in previously and paid £20 for. So the fact that football fans are being asked to come and watch Liverpool Manchester United in a meaningless pre-season friendly and pay $600 for a face value seat, according to these people, in a regular stand, I'm sorry, but that is horseshit of the highest order. It is a joke, it is a scam, and I hate seeing fans fleece like this. The whole point of these money-spinning pre-season tours is that Liverpool get to go and sell themselves in these markets. Obviously, you get to see your heroes, you get to show up and you watch them train sometimes, they've open days, all that stuff is brilliant. And what I will say in defence of the football club is, I know from first-hand experience of friends of mine who live in the States that when Liverpool go over there, when they go to Australia or wherever, the access that the supporters clubs get given and the days that the club set up are brilliant. They get very close access to the players, the manager, and it's an experience that they should get because they very rarely get the opportunity to see Liverpool up close and personal. And I love that the club do that. So full marks to the club for that. But I don't like this fucking $650 nonsense for pre-season friendlies. That is shocking when we're talking about a country where I believe the average daily wage in Thailand is about £7 a day, I think, from what I was reading up on. I'm sorry, that's not right. That is not right in any way, shape or form. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because I am always looking out for our friends who are in different parts of the world, because as I said, happy to give the club the credit for the great stuff they do with the local fan clubs, we're giving them access and stuff like that. Brilliant. Well done to Liverpool on that, but fuck me, these prices are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Tom said, pay $200 for nosebleed seats in the Giants Stadium to see the Reds 3-4 years ago. Nuts. Man, that is nuts. You know what I have to say though, when Liverpool came to Dublin, I didn't buy tickets, I got media passes, but I have friends who bought tickets and they were okay. They weren't the most ridiculous prices. There were some good family value tickets and that in there if my memory serves, but yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's Liverpool United and I know that it could be a lifetime experience for anybody who get to go to it. You know, they might never be able to travel from Thailand or all the way across to the UK to see Liverpool playing or United playing, but talking about capitalising on your fan base and making a quick buck, I don't like that at all. Rehan said, only real ones know about the New Year's Eve stream. You're damn right, mate. And you know what? I've no memory of that stream whatsoever. I put it on private straight away after the stream because I was so drunk I don't even remember what I said. And when I'm that way, which is very often, not very often, I fear that I've said something stupid. So yeah, I put that on private. But anyway, look, let's get back to talking transfers or talking all things Liverpool. I will be doing a preview tomorrow at 5:45 for the Benfica game, but because you're all here with me now, let's do a little spoiler and let's give you guys my predicted lineup for that game. I'm going to go Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Matip, Robbo, Fabinho, Thiago. Now, I don't think this is the right decision, but I fully expect Hendo to play. So I expect it to be Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson. And then up top, I'm absolutely convinced we'll see Luis Diaz starting on the left-hand side, Mohamed Salah starting on the right-hand side. And I would play Diogo Jota through the centre. And I know that sounds really harsh on Sadio Mane because he didn't get a start in the last game. But I just think the knowledge of the Portuguese game from Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz probably just tips it for me. But I also remember that Sadio Mane loved scoring goals against Porto, as an example. If memory's right, I think he scored a hat-trick in the Champions League against them, or at least 2. So that's my predicted 11. But if Mane goes in instead of Jota, I've no problem with that either. Rest Mane for the big match on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're playing Tuesday, Sunday, actually. So Sadio Mane and anyone who plays will get enough rest. You know, Tuesday through the Sunday, that's a decent rest. Even the fact that we're away from home, you'd imagine that we get back into Liverpool on Wednesday, probably a slight, recovery session on Wednesday, and then back into training Thursday, Friday, Saturday ahead of that game at the Etihad, which is a huge game. Mane through the centre. Yeah, perhaps, Ryan. That's what I was saying. He played there recently as well. It seems that Luis Diaz is the left side and Mane through the centre is what we'd seen Klopp go to, actually, before the international break. Somebody else said, I didn't think you drink, Craig. I drink maybe 2-3 times a year max. And that was one of them, New Year's Eve. And my God, I was pretty drunk. Do I play fantasy? Yeah, I do. I'm pretty bang average at it, to be honest with you, but I enjoy playing it, like I'm sure you guys do as well. Start Tsimikas instead of Robertson against City. Ooh. It's a big call. It's a big call, that, mate. But, I can understand where you're coming from, because one of my favourite attributes of Costas is him stepping up to win the ball before it reaches the intended attacker. And I love that about him. But I don't know. I mean, we've all accused Pep Guardiola of overthinking shit in the big games with regards to Manchester City. Maybe we're doing that here when we're talking about, throwing in Costas as an example. Are we overthinking this? We probably are, Give Mo a rest. He's mentally fatigued. Yeah, but think of it another way, buddy. If he's about to sign a new contract, comes that, you're going to want to play in a Champions League quarter-final. Again, the eyes of the world will be on him. These are the type of games that get you closer to a Ballon d'Or, for an example. So if Mohamed Salah, even though, look, I'll be the first one to admit, he's been not the brilliant best Mo we've seen at the start of the season in recent memory since the AFCON, but he is still Mohamed Salah. He is still capable of a moment of magic. He is still capable of turning a tie on its head individually at times. So I think you need to give the big players the big stage. And if you're committing a record wage to somebody, you're wanting them to play on the biggest stage. You're wanting them to show what he can do in a Champions League quarter-final. So I fully expect him to start. DJ said Canade 100% starts. There's not a chance in hell that you know that for a fact, nor is there a chance in hell that I know for a fact that he won't. So I'm not saying you're wrong. But what I will say is, I would be very surprised if many people disagreed with me when I say that Matip has been our best defender. Best central defender this season. I'm adamant about that, by the way, that Joe Matip has been our most consistent centre-back this season. Van Dijk is getting back to his brilliant best. Great to see that. And the partnership that they have together is phenomenal. Canade coming in, and again, we're talking about a really, really high-level centre-back here who's more than capable of coming in and doing a great job. But right now, I'm a big believer in, if you're playing well, the shirt's yours, and Joe Matip's playing really well at the minute. Stephen said Matip's been sensational. Joe said Matip may be the best centre-back in the Premier League at the minute. Look, my friends, can you do me a little favour? Can you drop a like on the stream for me? And if you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC, you can see the blue link or the link or the blue join button or the link in the description. As always, it is $4.99 a month. If you want to join the fun in the Discord group or whatever, that's one of the ways you can get there. On Tuesday, the game for us, we will be on Twitch for the watch along. Like I told you before, cup games, European games for the remainder of the season will be on Twitch, Premier League games on YouTube. We will be starting the day's proceedings on YouTube on Tuesday. We'll be doing a team news announcement show on YouTube from 6:45 to 7:15, and then I'll jump over to Twitch for the watch along from 7:15 onwards, then back over to YouTube for the match reactions. I've got some good news as well. So Paddy is going to be away for the second leg against Benfica. Paddy's gone over to Liverpool for it. So guess who we've drafted in to cover from that day? Somebody who a lot of you guys have been asking me about recently, and he volunteered himself because he's still in our Discord group. So we're going to have Mr. Steve Bland joining us for the match reaction after the second leg against Benfica, which I'm absolutely delighted about as well. I know a lot of you guys have been asking us about Steve. Will he be coming back? I don't know right now. Again, Steve just hasn't got the time to be consistent. You know, it's like me. Steve wouldn't commit to something if he couldn't fully commit to it. So yeah, Steve's going to be coming back for that one as well, which is amazing. Yeah, I love Steve. Absolutely love him. I'm delighted. You know, he's getting arranging his wedding and stuff as well. And yeah, great to hear. Great to have Steve back with us for a show as well. Who doesn't love a bit of sexy Steve, says Quinch. Absolutely. What a gent Steve is as well. And look, we need people like Steve around to keep people like me and Paddy Murphy in check. You know, we need that dose of realism every so often. I'm genuinely buzzing here with the Minifo. Honestly, I'm in such a happy mood today. Canade for both Benfica legs, then Matip to start both City games. Yeah, I mean, look, this City game next week is big, isn't it? Like, I'm trying to think of a bigger league game for us in recent years. The only one that maybe even comes close is the Chelsea game. You know the one I'm talking about. This is so fucking big. This is... If we can get ahead of Manchester City after playing the same amount of games, having been 14 points down at one point. Now look, we were 14 points down, but we had a couple of games in hand, but still 14 points. If we can turn that around and get a result of the Etihad, psychologically, I don't see us dropping. Like, if we win this game, I think we win the league. If we draw the game, I don't think it's over. If City win the game, I think City win the league. So it's huge, absolutely huge. I'm waiting, and I don't know if you guys may have this information if it's been posted already, but I'm waiting to find out who the officials are for the game, because I think that's going to be vitally important. There's certain names, of course, we all don't want to see on it, but I hope we hear Michael Oliver gets the game, and I hope that one of the officials, the VAR official, isn't Mr. Coote, or isn't Mr. Atwell, or isn't... who's the other one that we don't like? I can't think of fucking referees' names half the times. Yeah, I just basically hope that we don't have a situation where VAR or the referee has a big say in the game. If Manchester City go out there, beat us, and playing great football, I'll be the first one on here to congratulate them for the victory. But I don't want to be on here talking about refereeing decisions or controversial incidents. I hope football wins the day, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. Yeah, Paul Tierney, that's the other one. We don't want him either. You'd be quicker naming the good Premier League refs. I did. Michael Oliver. That's it. That's the list in my eyes. We've got a great shot of beating City, said Jaden. I think we'd have to play smart and get creative. Look, I had a bit of a rant about Manchester City yesterday. That Connor had clipped up and stuck on social media, but I want to make one part of that very clear. When I say I detest and I hate Manchester City in the current guise, this is what I mean. Do I believe that Manchester City's players and coaches deserve to be slagged off? No, I don't. I've full respect for Manchester City's coaches. I've full respect for the Manchester City players, and I've full respect for the quality of football that they play. I couldn't not have, being a football fan, being a football purist, I couldn't not respect the way they play. I've got no problem with Manchester City's fans. My only problem is with the way the club is owned and the way that the club is run. That's what I detest. I don't want to get into it again, but I can't stand it. It's anti-everything that I stand for. It's anti-everything I believe in, and I believe it's anti-everything that fair play is about. That's my opinion. The players, the fans, I don't have any issues with them. None. Look, I don't like Bernardo Silva for the lack of applause when we won the league. But my issue is with the owners of the club. My issue is with the way the club is run. My issue is with the underhanded tactics on the way that the club is run. It's not with the fans, and it's not with the players and coaches. I have to say, they play great football. They do play great football. And the two teams have pushed each other on to unbelievable heights. Absolutely no doubt about that. But I can't sit here and tell you that the way that they've done things isn't disgusting and hasn't ruined football and ruined the transfer market. And I don't look, Manchester City fans are going to come back at me and say we haven't paid that many high transfer fees, we haven't set records, yada yada yada. But you pay ridiculous wages. You're the only club in the world that could drop 100 million on Jack Grealish because nobody else thinks he's worth 100 million quid. You're also going to drop 100 million quid on Harry Kane, who's almost 30 years of age. Great player, but nobody else would do it. So yeah, I get that I'm going to get abused for it. I get it. I don't care about it because I'm right. I know I'm right. I'm 100% right. And I know that you deep down, anybody who says cry, being salty, I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm a realist. And I'm somebody who thinks that football's gotten away from the normal working class roots the sport began in and has now become an entertainment business. And that happens because football clubs have to continuously try to compete with countries that own football clubs. And look, let's be honest here. The difference between an FSG or a Glazers or whomever else spending money and a country spending money, it's night and day. Can you imagine, let's just say the Queen of England, how Lizzie decides that she wants to go over and buy fucking Bayern Munich. No, she can't buy that because they're 50+1. She wants to go over and buy Benfica. So the English nation own Benfica. Do you think dropping $1 billion or $2 billion quid to a country with a huge GDP is going to really hurt the coffers? No, because it'll be just paid back in taxes by taxpayers, or it'll be taken back in from other things. So it's a lot different, and that's what I hate about it. It is done as basically a PR exercise for these countries. It is done to try and soften up the edges of some of the dodgy antics that have gone on, or some of the cultures that might not be seen as over welcoming to us in the Western world. I fully respect that each culture has its own differences. Of course I do. And I fully believe that when you're in somebody else's country, so if I'm in a Far Eastern country, I fully believe that I should adhere to their laws, rules, and be respectful, and I'm over there, and I always will be. But again, as a football fan, I can't sit here and say to you that PSG and Manchester City have not destroyed a lot of what I love about football. And again, the Americanization, or the want to Americanize the culture of European football by pushing this Super League. Look who was behind the Super League. So, from the English side, 3 American owners. That's a fact. Kroenke, John W. Henry, or FSG, and the Glazers. So, they're people who own sports clubs or franchises in America where their culture is entirely different. It is their culture, and people grow up watching sports in that way. Fair play to them. I mean, I watch NFL. I enjoy it. But it's not the way we watch or consume sport. We consume sport because the Leicester Cities of this world, those stories, they need to happen. Those stories are what makes us fall in love with the beauty of football. The ability to go from extreme poverty or being told you can't compete against the big boys to being able to lift the Premier League. 5,000 to 1. That's amazing. A club that were down through the divisions a few years ago. That is what football's about. It's amazing, it's beautiful, and it's what we all love to see. So you had the American group, the 3 American owners, who view sport and how it's consumed and how the money is, and don't really understand idealistically why they can't have this closed off shop where money keeps getting generated, and they've no worry about relegation or promotion. But then you look at the other side of it, and you look at the clubs that were pushing it from a European side. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus. Do you see a theme here? Do you see a reason why those 3 particular clubs might be pushing it? If you're struggling for the answer is that they're all shit broke. The answer is that they spunked a load of money that they can't afford to, and they are in a mass of debt. So of course, the idea of bringing in 3 billion or whatever it was over the first few years of the time and the signing on bonuses of the Super League appealed to them. Of course it does. Then look into it a little bit further. There's a great documentary on Sky about it at the minute. I urge you to go and watch it, about the Super League and the way it all fell apart. Some great reporting, some great undercover journalism. Fantastic. So be under no mistake. None of this shit is being done for us, the fans. None of it. It's been done to line the pockets of owners and to cover up for mistakes that these people have done. That's how it is. So that's why I don't like it. That's why I was so opposed to the Super League. And that's why I would have stepped away from watching Liverpool Football Club if it ever happened. That's my take on it. Adam, thank you for the super chat. Said City and PSG spending the way they do will make it so much more satisfying if we win the league. Yes, absolutely, my man. Absolutely. That's what I said in the clip. I don't understand why Spurs fans or Arsenal fans, of course I understand United and Everton fans to some extent because, we have that rivalry. But I don't understand the hatred towards Liverpool by so many of these people. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot. Look, yes, we have arseholes in our fan base. Some people consider me one of them. But look at the big picture. It's like I always say to you guys about VAR incidents. It's very easy to come on, jump on here and talk about being a salty Liverpool fan over a refereeing decision. But next week, as I always say, it'll be your team or somebody else's team that is on the end of one of these shitty decisions from incompetent referees. We got to think bigger picture. So I think it's the same here. I think we got to take bigger picture with why I believe that people should be, I wouldn't say applauding Liverpool, but I think they should look at the way our club is and the way other clubs are. Leicester City, another good example of a club that's run really well. And I think we should be applauded for being creative enough to try and compete with the big boys who have unlimited wealth and unlimited resources. So I don't get why people want us to lose the league and City to win it. Idealistically, as a human being, I genuinely see this as a battle of good versus evil. I really, really fucking do. I see this as Liverpool fighting the good fight. And look, I'm not naive enough to come on here and not understand that there are people watching from Southampton maybe, or from Brentford, or clubs in the Championship or League 1 or League 2 who say, of course, it's very easy for you to sit there in your ivory tower supporting Liverpool, seeing Liverpool playing Championship. I know that. I'm aware of that. I absolutely am. That doesn't pass me by. I'm aware that shit happens, and I'm aware that we need to redistribute funds down to the tier of English football. But I'll also say, I think there's too many professional tiers in the English game. Right. That's a false narrative about US sports. It's absolutely not a false narrative about US sports. Is there relegation in US sports, Jamrock? Do you have to worry about it? Do teams tank in NFL, Jamrock, to get better picks in the draft? So you're having a pop at me about a false narrative. It's a narrative, mate, that has been written about by many, many journalists who... Rory Smith, I believe, from the Times, is another great journalist I think who's written about this. It's not a false narrative, mate. You're wrong. I'm right. And Jamrock, I never pull you up on anything, mate. We have back and forth on here a lot, and I'm always happy to do it. But it is absolutely not a false narrative. It is absolutely true that the culture of consuming sport is entirely different in the US and England. It's just a fact, mate. And the reason that the NFL barely has repeat winners is because of the draft situation, is because of the collegiate background and players coming through from colleges and stuff. Absolutely. But tell me this, mate. Those clubs you named, the Raptors, the Bucks, the Pistons, any of them ever been relegated out of the league, mate? Any of them ever have to worry about not being in their respective leagues the following season? Any of those owners ever have to plan for the fact that they might lose half their income the following season or more than half their income from falling down through the divisions? Nope. They know every year that they can milk that cash cow, they can sell their season tickets, they will get their NFL money, and it's a much better system for the owners. It's a system that is set up to suit owners. That's it. Period. That's my point. I'm not saying that how Americans consume sport is wrong. It's their culture, and I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of the NFL. I watch it. Are you concerned about that Ramadan fasting will negatively impact the performances of Salah and Mane? God, I mean, I don't know, mate. Is the honest answer. I am of a Muslim faith. If I fast, it's because I'm a fat shit that needs to lose weight and I'm on a diet. But I don't know what it is like for a Muslim athlete who has to compete at the highest level and who has to fast from sun up to sundown. I don't know, mate. I'm not the right person to speak about that. What I will say is I love the multiculturalism of our sport. I love that football allows people of all faiths, backgrounds, colour, creeds, religions to come together and observe and love the beautiful game. And I've no doubt that both the gentlemen in question will give 100% every ounce of energy that they have. But I just couldn't give you an answer, mate, of whether it will affect the performances or not, because I just don't know. What have we got? Star Wars comes to mind, Craig. Keep it going. I don't know what that's about, Jen. Or not Jen, Joanne, sorry. I don't know what that's about. It's a false narrative because the NBA and the NFL are more competitive than the Premier League and Serie A. I don't know what part of what I said isn't sinking through to you, mate. I never once said the leagues weren't competitive. Never once. I never once came on here, mate, and said that those leagues aren't competitive. I said that they're consumed differently, that they're set up differently, that the owners, and the point I was making was about the owners, that they know every year they'll have their money. They know every year they'll have their season tickets, they'll have their TV revenues from Fox or whoever it is that has the games, and they don't have to worry about relegation. Whereas the likes of Fulham, who are about to come up to the Premier League, they have this big quandary of, should we take a risk? Should we invest in the club and try and maintain our position as a Premier League club? If that doesn't happen, well, fuck, we might just shit the bed and end up back down and lose a shitload of money in television revenue and in Premier League prize money that will mean that they have to get rid of half their squad. In the NFL, and I can only speak about the NFL because it's the only American sport I watch, I know that you trade draft picks for players and salary caps and all this kind of stuff, and that every club will get their chance to take the hottest prospect, the best college athlete in the position that they need, whether it be quarterback, whether it be wide receiver, whether it be a tight end, whoever it is. And I look, that's a great part. That's a great point. It's a great part that they do have that aspect. That's what keeps the sport competitive in America. I never spoke about the competitive nature of it. I only spoke about it from an owner's perspective and why American owners coming into European sport, football in particular, would look at it with a different mindset. And it would probably be the same way if a European owner was looking to buy an American club and an American franchise. They'd probably think, well, I will pay a bit more because I know that I don't have to worry of relegation. That's the point I was trying to make. False narrative. Trevor Sinclair suggesting Liverpool have an easy run in when we play mostly the same teams. Jamrock said, but Craig, there's also 15 teams on average lose money every year before the revenue sharing. The big money team subsidise the small market team. I don't want to have a row about it, mate, but my point still is that they're still going to be in the NFL. No matter what happens, how shit they are, they're still going to be in there next season. They've no chance of getting relegated. So that's my point, is that they looked at the Super League and thought, well, hang on, Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in European football, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Why shouldn't they get a higher revenue? Why shouldn't they get the riches that comes with European football every single season? And that's the capitalist side of it that I don't like. What have we got? Apparently Egypt and Senegal has been replayed. Where have you seen that, Corin? Yeah, where have you seen that? Oh, I'd be amazed if that happened. Absolutely amazed. And they wouldn't need to replay it. Surely there'd be the penalty shootout would be the only real thing in question there. If there is anything to be questioned. Look, I know about the lasers, of course, but they don't get relegated. They expand the number of teams in the league. Exactly, but that doesn't hurt the teams that are already in the league, mate, because they're still going to be in the league. And again, remember, buddy, I'm not trying to knock American sports or your culture here, or American. I love it. I love the NFL. I've fallen massively in love with it over the past few years. And like everybody, I'm waiting for the new season to start. Massively looking forward to it. And look, I've been over to Orlando City to watch Orlando City playing in the MLS. And even the way football is consumed over there inside the stadiums is entirely different. It's just a really different experience. And it's an experience I was glad I was able to have, because it intrigues me how different cultures interact with sport in different ways. Like, for instance, here's a good example. You know the way if you watch South American football, and maybe sometimes in Germany, I think as well, you get this repetitive drum banging and boom, 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 boom inside the stadium, to like that the samba beat, that kind of tempo that feeds into the football team there. I hate that. And let me tell you why I hate that. I think that the most impactful moments in football come naturally. So, Robbo, crunch and tackle from Andy Robertson. The whole stadium lifts up immediately. It's reactive, it is in that moment, and it is what makes it beautiful. This constant boom, 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 and all the fans think it's great, it's lovely, but it's not the ebb and flow of the game that makes it beautiful to me as I watch it. Peter said they asked to replay the match. It hasn't been announced if they will replay it. I'd be amazed. As somebody who, as I'm sure you're aware, is Irish, and the incident with Thierry Henry's handball had our whole country up in arms. Everybody, man, woman, child, dogs, goldfishes, every one of us wanted FIFA to act and give Ireland a fair chance to be at the World Cup after that handball. And we were laughed at by FIFA, openly laughed at. And unfortunately, I can't see FIFA changing their stance, or even if FIFA have to, hand it back to the AFCON organisers, I can't see it being changed. Jamrock said there's always the negative connotation with American owners, but in reality most UK sports fans believe the club should remain how they want it, not with how global teams have. I don't think there's a negative connotation about American owners, mate. I think a lot of the stuff FSG have done at Liverpool has been great. Absolutely great. But it's no accident that 3 of the owners of the English teams that were pushing the Super League are American. And I think the reason why I've explained that, I believe to be true. It's not a knock against Americans. It's just a cultural difference. It's, to me, and my experience over in America, mate, a country that I love visiting, most important thing in America, the most important thing in my experience over there, bar none, is a dollar. Money. Money rules. When on the back of the money Americans have "In God We Trust," I think the most important thing in America is money. And I think it's to the detriment of many people. Yeah, that's my honest opinion. Love the country, love the culture, love visiting, but I don't like the way money rules. I don't like the way money's the most important thing. I don't like the way some employees are treated. And this is not just in America, but there's employees all over the world treated shittily. But it's my experience in America is money can solve everything. Anyway, Let's get back to talking about Mohamed Salah for a little bit, because that's why we're all here tonight, to talk about Mohamed Salah. Um, how do we think that the forward situation is going to end up with Sadio and Bobby? So here's the reason why I ask you. Somebody sent me yesterday. They think what will happen is Mo will sign a new deal, Sadio Mane will be sold, and that Bobby Firmino will run down his contract. Liz said that's a little narrow-minded. I understand, Liz, like everything. I understand it's a nuanced debate, nuanced argument, and there are pros and cons, and I'm not trying to say Americans are bad people. But I believe that there... You know what, I probably shouldn't go into it too much, Liz. We should maybe discuss this in private. Because I understand you may feel a little bit annoyed by what I've said. All I can give you is my experience. I'm not saying it's a fact. My experience of American culture is that money's king. That's my experience of it. Doesn't mean there aren't good people. You are one of those very, very lovely people, Liz. But that's my take on it. There's not enough socialism for my liking in American culture. It's one of the things I love most about Ireland, is that it's not perfect. Fucking hell, it's not perfect. But, you know, it's a lot better for me. For me, and look, each to their own. Just because I see the world in one way doesn't mean I expect everybody else to. Absolutely, Liz. You live there. I visit. 100%. Agree with you. Now, here's the thing, Liz. You've no health insurance. You get run over by a car. What happens? You can't pay for your medical cover. What happens? You go bankrupt. Your home's taken away to cover medical costs. That's a fact. That happens. Never once happened in this country. Never once have I heard of somebody who has had to go have an operation and had to sell their house to do it. Never heard of it. Never once. That's my point. I don't believe any human being should go bankrupt for medical cover. I believe the state should cover that. The state should step in and help. But maybe the difference is, and you know, I'm kind of just venting here, maybe the difference is a home can't be taken away from medical treatment. Are you 100% saying to me, Liz, that nobody in America has been declared bankrupt for medical treatment? Because, I mean, come on. Let's be fair. Yes, we were talking about football, and I went off on a tangent, Jamrock. Absolutely. Good to pull me up on it. Let's move back. It's a tradition you're speaking of protecting it and not carving up a system that's been in place for 100 years. There's Medicare, Obamacare. I look, again, I know about Medicare, I know about Obamacare. And it's your culture, it's your history, and it's your country, and you're right to be proud of it. Absolutely. I'm just giving my opinion on something, dude. It's all right. I know many people think Ireland's a rip-off. People come over here and think that the country is overly expensive, and I agree. I mean, to go into Temple Bar and pay 12 quid for a pint, 11.50 for a pint after midnight, it's fucking ridiculous. House prices in this country are ridiculous. So yeah, let's get back to talking about footy. And I apologise on the tangent that I went off there, and I certainly didn't mean to insult anybody's culture or country. I'm just trying to maybe point out how I see the world in a different way living here, and how maybe you see it in a certain way living there. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't want to offend anyone. What have we got? Jabrock saying, no, I thought we were talking about the capitalism related to football. Yeah, look, I mean, let's get back to basics here. Is there any one of us who've been watching football for, well, no, however long you've been watching it, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whoever, is there any one of us that haven't seen the cost of supporting a football club increase hugely over the past X amount of years? So here's a few examples that a lot of you guys may find familiar. I grew up when I was starting to support Liverpool. and Liverpool rotated their kits every second year. So one year you'd have a home shirt that would change. The next year the away shirt would change, and parents or men, women who bought football kits, you get 2 years out of them while they're still relevant. That then stopped, and we have a culture where football clubs are changing kits every year. That then became, well, have a third kit. Here comes a third kit. Now it's a training kit. Now it's a training kit for the second kit, a training kit for the third kit. Now it's Liverpool Nike shoes or Liverpool whatever. It used to be that you got Sky Sports when it came out, and that was it. You got Sky Sports because you wanted to watch Premier League football. You understood that this was to help try and push the English game on, and it was taken off terrestrial TV. Now, you can't just have Sky Sports. You got to have Sky Sports. You got to have BT Sport. You got to have Premier Sports. You got to have Amazon Prime. You got to have Disney maybe down the line. And the cost of going to a game, the cost of supporting a football club, the cost of trying to keep up with what's going on is phenomenally expensive. And that's with a real heavy heart for a lot of us that's happening. And I hate it. So I'm not surprised that there's a trend of a lot of people starting to go back to, non-league football. And it's one of the reasons why I don't go over to Liverpool anywhere near as much as I used to, because I'm sick of being fleeced. The moment football was taken off terrestrial TV to pay for the game was lost. It's only a matter of time. That money kills the game we all love. Yeah, and look, we're as guilty of this as anyone as Liverpool fans, because we are at the top table. We are an elite club that generates a lot of cash. Here again, someone said I came to Liverpool in 1985 and the ticket cost a £5. This is what freaked me out. I remember in the season in 2005 when we won the Champions League in Istanbul, you could still pay on the gate for some of those games, for some of the quarter-final games and stuff. It's mad, isn't it? Like, we now support a football club where we can't even get on a waiting list to get a season ticket. That's how mad the game has gone, like. Jamrock said it's expensive in the UK but not here in the US, Craig. That's the difference, and that's class. That's brilliant. The fact it's accessible. You know what else? Again, to go pro America, I love the what do you guys call it over there? I love the tailgating aspect of American sport. I love that inside American stadiums there's a lot of open spaces where you can walk around or sit down or stand and observe it, and I believe that the fan experience inside American stadiums is infinitely better than it is in the UK. Infinitely better, Jamrock, 100%. So yeah, there's a lot to learn from both sides, no doubt about it. I love the tailgating aspect. Oh, look, tailgating on a rainy night in Stoke mightn't be as appealing as maybe in Florida or in Texas or something like that. I love that. I love it. I love that you make a whole day out of the sport. It's brilliant. Right, let's get back to Mo's contract situation for a minute. So, to pose that question that I asked earlier on, somebody said to me they believe that, and this was just a fan just, giving their two cents on it, they believe that Mohamed Salah will sign, that Bobby will allow his contract to run down and the club will let him go, and that Mane will be sold. What's your thoughts on that one? Do you think that is the most likely outcome? Come to Vegas, Craig. The US needs Anfield agenda. Oh, Jay, I cannot tell you, mate, how much I want to go to Las Vegas. For so many reasons. Not least because of maybe going to watch boxing or the UFC. Maybe going to see the new stadium that the Raiders play in. I'd love to, Jay. I'd love to. And I know that there's isn't there a Liverpool con every year or Cop Con or something like that in Vegas every year, which I would have loved to have gone over to. Jamrock said I live in South Florida and I can watch a game at home or many of the soccer themed bars. Yeah, I remember when we were over there looking at prices, as I said, when we went to the Orlando game, $20 gets you to the game. That's class. And I love in Germany as well. Anyone that lived in Germany maybe can confirm this for me or, give me your viewpoint on it. I remember, was it Hans Beckenbauer or somebody at Bayern Munich once saying that, yeah, you can get tickets for 20-25 quid to a game, and I think your match ticket in Germany also includes your public transport to and from the game, which is class. And they were spoken about why we could increase the ticket revenue, we could increase the season ticket prices, make a few more million quid, but do we really need it in the grand scheme of things? And I thought that was class. I thought that was lovely. Would you ever go on the Happy Hour podcast? Oh, mate, I fucking begged, pleaded, jumped up and down, waved my arms around, chatted with Stevie, tried to catch Jack Mate's attention. Yeah, I'm just not relevant enough to be on the Happy Hour podcast. But would I go on it? Yeah, of course I would, man. It would be something on my bucket list. Has Salah signed it? Don't know. Don't know is the honest answer. Has he agreed to it? I would say yes. 100% in my eyes. But has he signed it? Don't know. Haven't got a clue. And until it's signed, it's not really real, is it? Until it's signed. Who's my favourite Liverpool player? Bobby Firmino. The one that we're talking about maybe moving on. What about Jude Bellingham? Nothing new that I've heard, Rachel, on Bellingham. He's the target. He's the number one priority for midfield. Now, the problem I come with Jude Bellingham on a couple of things. One, Dortmund are going to lose Haaland in the summer. Dortmund will get Dortmund will get a decent chunk of money for Haaland, but infinitely less than his market value is. So, because he has the buyout clause. So he'll go off somewhere else. Would they actually want to lose Jude Bellingham and him in the one window? I would say no. Would they do it? I would say yes, but it would have to be a silly price. And then you come back to the question of, well, do Liverpool pay silly prices? No, we don't. Well, at least not in the grand scheme of things. Of course, we're no paupers. We spend money on players, but so I think we may have to wait a little bit longer for that one. But I'll tell you actually what interests me in the midfield situation is if we were to sign Tchouaméni in the summer, if we were to bring him in from Monaco, would that put the kibosh on a future move for Jude Bellingham? Or would it be bring one in this summer and then bring one in the following summer and refresh the average age of the Liverpool midfield? That could be an option as well. Write some more comments. Ian White says, I'm sure in Germany at some games you get food at half time, including the ticket price. Wow. Again, if that's true, man, that's absolutely class. Jamrock, thank you for another super chat. Mate, I'll probably spot your comments. I don't want you putting your hand in your pocket all the time, dude, to get... I look out for your comments, mate. You've always been very generous with your super chats. I appreciate it, but I don't want you to feel like that's the only way I'll read your comment out, my man. When wage bills started to explode, the teams in the league seeked ways to increase revenue in various ways to mitigate some of that expense. Yeah, that's a fair point. I have no notes, no argument there, buddy. I think you're spot on. Some more. Manuel said Everton's Goodison Park is a car park. Well, it is actually where we usually park if we go to games. We park at Goodison when Liverpool are playing sometimes if we're driving. So, can't disagree with you. I'd certainly view it as a car park. What have we got? Greetings from Pakistan. How are you, my man? Lovely to have you in. I hope you're well. Liz said, I love this Anfield Agenda family all around the world. WFM, James frickin' Milner. Yeah, I love it as well, Liz. Honestly, I love the fact that, we can speak openly as well with each other and, we may disagree, but we'll do it respectfully if we can. Yeah, it's amazing. I love this community. Being away from you guys for 10, 11 days made me realise how much I miss you fuckers. Do I still get on with Mark? Yeah, I actually exchanged a couple of WhatsApps with Mark earlier on. About nothing in particular, just kind of, just small talk. But yeah, I've no reason to not get on. As I said, Goldbridge and Drawdy have been very good to me personally, good to us as a channel, always been open with us on advice or anything like that, which I'm extremely grateful for. So yeah, no issues there. First time here, have to say love it so far, said Duggan. Man, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and giving us a try. And I hope to see you back soon as well. Thank you. Where do I think Liverpool need to upgrade coming into next season? Right back. Not an upgrade. Sorry. Of course you can't. We're not upgrading Trent. But I do think we need to add a right back in. But let me also add to that, I thought Joe Gomez was absolutely phenomenal. You know, so proud of the way Joe adapted to that right back position. And look, he's played right back before, but the crossing yesterday from Joe Gomez I thought was Trent-esque at times. It was brilliant. So delighted for Joe that he's back in some good form. I think we do need to add a central midfielder in my eyes. You know, I would expect maybe Chamberlain to move on. Curtis Jones is the kind of elephant in the room, isn't it, for us Liverpool fans, because we all want him to succeed so badly, but right now he's not good enough, quite frankly. When I say not good enough, I mean to get into this midfield on a regular basis. Obviously, he's a very good footballer, or you wouldn't be at Liverpool, but I don't think he's pushed on enough, Curtis Jones. So maybe, I certainly wouldn't be looking at selling Curtis Jones, because I think he will come good. So I think maybe a loan for Curtis Jones would be a good thing. To give him a full season playing, hopefully, Premier League football week in, week out, getting into a proper rhythm and seeing what he can do. So I would like to see a central midfielder brought in. I'm not sure what will happen in the long term with some of the youngsters. You know, you can never guarantee that somebody's going to come through and, you know, as good as they've been maybe in their little cameo appearances, can they do it week in and week out in the Premier League? So we'll wait and see what happens with Tyler Morton. We'll wait and see what happens with young Pitaluga as a goalkeeper, and we'll wait and see what happens with the young Polish dude that we brought in, the Messi-esque, the Polish Messi. See how he gets on. And then I think a lot will depend on who leaves. So if Mane leaves, I know we've brought in Luis Diaz, who's amazing, but I still think I would like us to add another forward if we lose a forward. So squad size is okay. I don't really think we've got too many issues with our squad size. I think we've almost got two players in every single position, which is, I think, what you need to look for. Actually, I was shocked to find out we actually have a bigger squad registered than Manchester City in the Premier League. Jamrock said the salary cap is why so many American sports teams, except baseball, which has no salary cap, can have cost certainty and not run into liquidation. I'd love that to happen in English football, mate. I would, honestly. I think salary caps are a very good idea. Anything that makes the game more sustainable and doesn't put anybody at risk of going out of business, I understand. Absolutely. No arguments. You're right. It would be lovely to see a cap on money in football. It would, especially on agents' fees, because my God, I'm sick of reading about the agents' fees and how much money. Bowen is a good shout. We see he came back and scored today, actually, for West Ham, Jared Bowen, in their 2-1 victory over Everton. So, yeah, Jared Bowen I'd love. But I had somebody told me in the chat yesterday that they seen somewhere that Bowen might cost 75 million quid. And look, as much as I like Jared Bowen, 75 million quid? That's I don't know if he's a 75 million quid player, yeah? For people like this gentleman here, 6 times that I don't see the hype about Bowen. But what got me about Bowen is that I can see immediately how he would be played in our system. That was the big attraction for me about Jared Bowen. Like, he's a good, solid footballer, has an eye for goal, but he's a type of footballer that you could see in Liverpool's system really easily. Same with Federico Chiesa. I could see him in the Liverpool system straight away. You know, he's a Jurgen Klopp type of player. What's up with Elliot? I don't know if you're talking about the social media post from Harvey Elliott about the Mason Greenwood situation, or if you're talking about why aren't we seeing more of Harvey Elliott playing recently. If it's the second one, I can't give you an absolute answer. I would imagine, much like Curtis Jones and other young players before, that, you know, Klopp's just taking over the limelight for a little bit, you know, letting them regather. and bring him back in. But other than that, don't know. Trent ready and fit for City, said Thomas Khalifa. Yeah, 100%, mate. He'll be actually ready for the game against Benfica. He's had 1 day's training, Trent. And yeah, I think he's good to go. I think he'll be ready for Tuesday. Would you take Dybala? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, not consistent enough for me. And I would ask as well, I think there has to be a reason why Juventus are letting him go. You know, there was a contract offer on the table. I think, I don't know if it's been pulled away or if he's changed his mind, but yeah. Kit said, sorry about yesterday, 4-0 versus Peterborough. You know, I was actually thinking about you, mate, when I looked at the result yesterday. I thought, well, at least the dudes that came in, the Middlesbrough fan will be happy. Look, well done, good win, fair play. Would you take Liverpool to win the Premier League if City beat Liverpool in the Champions League final? Oh, I'm trying not to be petty here because, you know, no secret, I absolutely despise the idea of City winning the Champions League because it's the one thing that the money hasn't been able to manipulate them so far. So, yeah, look, I take Liverpool winning the Premier League. I mean, I've got to put that first, I suppose. Nunez from Benfica. Well, look, we'll get a good close-up look at him on Tuesday. He was linked with Newcastle, am I right? Newcastle, when they were looking for a striker, they inquired about Nunez. Yeah, look, Darwin Nunez is doing very good. I won't even profess to say I watch a lot of Benfica's football, I don't. But certainly seen him mentioned a lot. Chase said, Craig, a bit depressed as a Man United fan. Mate, look, I've been in those shoes. I know what it's like to be in April and have nothing to play for other than maybe an outside shot of a Champions League spot. Been there, wore the t-shirt as a Liverpool fan for many years. Do I feel for you? Not one fucking bit. Nope. Because as I said, football's cyclical. We've been there and I've had to watch Alex Ferguson and Giggs and Scholes and Keane lift trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. So yeah, no doubt United time will come back around, but right now I'm enjoying it being our time. Would you rather Everton get relegated or United not get fourth? I think United not getting fourth wouldn't be anywhere near as impactful to them as Everton getting relegated would be to Everton. And I go back and forth on this between my respect for Scousers and knowing what football means to both sets of fans in Liverpool, Evertonians and Liverpool fans, knowing how football is the highlight of the week for so many people. But then the other part of me just thinks about the goddamn amount of sheer abuse I've gotten off the Everton fans over the years. And then I get a bit petty and I said, yeah, well, fuck them. But idealistically, for Scousers, I wouldn't like Everton to go down. But the petty part of me would love to see their heads explode with the idea of the new stadium being a championship stadium. That kind of does make me smile and chuckle a little bit. Do we still have a chance of getting Mbappe? No. Real Madrid or PSG, I would imagine. As in he stays at PSG. Why are Irish TV ads so shit, said Mick Wall. Because there isn't an ounce of imagination used, Mick, between any of them. I often say the same. Look at these ads and go, who signed off on this shit? They're so bland, so plain, so safe, if you get me, Mick. It's just, yeah, I agree with you. Do I remember the 5,000 offer I made to Rio? I watched it back the other day and pissed myself. Yeah, and I also remember the £500 charity bet I have with Mark Goldbridge as well, that Liverpool will finish above United with a bonus 250 if one of them won the league. So I'm also going to be looking forward to letting Mark know exactly where he can send that £500 charity money. And hopefully £750 because I hope Liverpool pips City to the title and he'd have to pay it up. And just to put this into context, I had the same bet last season with not Mark but with a different person, a United fan, and I lost and I paid up the £500 to an autism centre that was close to this gentleman's heart. Happy to do it. I lost the bet. Happy to donate money to a good cause. So yeah, I have somewhere in mind for Goldbridge's hard-earned money. Scouser said I did a spoof Irish don't drink and drive commercial once. The slogan was stick to the bitters. Pedri to Liverpool. I don't think so. I did actually inquire about the Gavi situation a few weeks back, which I was a little bit pleasantly surprised at the answer I got. The idea of Gavi leaving Barcelona isn't entirely out of the question. They certainly want him to stay, but they only have so much money, and it's no secret that they're also trying to get Haaland or bring in some big players over the summer. So Araujo and Gavi are both negotiating with the club at the minute, and Barcelona have drawn a line in the sand with what they're actually able to offer to both of those players, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It looks like Araujo has played his way certainly into Xavi's heart at the minute. He's very important player in the defence. Gavi, they want to keep him. Idealistically, if I'm him or his parent or his representative, I think he's probably the best place for him to stay in Spain at the minute. You know, he's got a long career ahead of him, and I think staying where he's comfortable, learning from Xavi as a coach will be amazing for him. And I think idealistically, yeah, it'd be the right place for him to stay at Barcelona for a few more years. How long am I staying on? I don't know. Do you know what? I didn't even look at the clock. I'm still good to go for a little bit longer if you guys want to stay on. So yeah, up to you. God, I wish I could tell you the news I wanted to tell you, because there's a reason I'm trying to do a few longer streams to prepare for the future, which will be a big change up. So yeah, it's not an accident. It's not an accident that I'm trying to do some longer streams again. I'm trying to condition myself for them for the future. Is Salah going to Barca? No, he's going to stay at Liverpool. That was, again, just to give you the headlines from the papers this morning. One sec. This one says, this is from, which paper is this from? The Express, and it says, Salah, deal me in for life. The article goes on to read, Mohamed Salah is now close to agreeing a new contract that will keep him at Liverpool until the end of his career. A change of mind from the Egyptian has heightened Anfield's hopes of an end to the long drawn out saga. After Salah rejected new terms which would have been earning £400,000 a week, Liverpool owners were fearing that he would allow his contract to run down or move on elsewhere. So that's one of the articles. The next one was, again, just try and magnify this a bit. So this is it's Mo Salah, and this is from the Star. And they say Mohamed Salah is now close to agreeing a new contract which will keep him here at Liverpool until the end of his career. The Daily Star Sunday can reveal that a change of mind from the Egyptian has brought to an end the long-term drawn-out saga. After Salah rejected new terms which would have seen him earning £400,000 a week, Liverpool's owners were fearing the worst, that he would allow his contract to run down. And, you know, you can kind of gauge the rest yourself, but that's where we are right now. So, looking good. And again, I said this at the start of the video as well, but Jurgen Klopp now moves to the top of the list of Premier League managers' most wins after 250 games. Arsene Wenger is in fourth place on the list with 146 wins from 250. Sir Alex Ferguson in third with 152. Jose Mourinho in second with 158. And Jurgen Klopp, top of the pile with 160 wins from his 250 games. Genuinely shocked not to see Guardiola's name on that list. Honestly, absolutely shocked that Guardiola's name isn't on that list. I would have been absolutely sure he would. And our TikTok from the Virgil van Dijk penalty scored against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final now hit 3.5 million views. And thank you so much to Mark for alerting me of that fact, because I don't even have TikTok anymore. Connor runs the social media. So, one more thing. A little bit off the cuff again. So you know the way I'm a lord, which I am. I'm not the only lord on Anfield agenda anymore. You will be delighted to know that the legend, the man himself, Nullon Voider is now Lord Nullon Voider. I processed that paperwork earlier on, and once I get the receipt of acknowledgement and his documentation, I will bring it to you. So you now may call him Lord Nullon Voider, because he is a fucking lord. And proper order, he's earned it. Okay. People are saying Pep hasn't hit 250 games yet as a manager in Premier League. That would make sense, because you would imagine that you'd imagine when he does hit 250 games, he'll pass them all. Because let's be honest, he's won a ridiculous amount of Premier League games, so that makes sense. Then, if he's only had about 220 odd games, I'd imagine that when he does hit 250, he'll be top of that list. When is the announcement? On Salah's contract? No idea. No idea, Ava. Is Nullon that robot thing? Do I have Nullon in this scene? Let me see. I don't think I do, you know. Oh, I do. I do. Him. That's Nullon. Sorry, Lord Nullon. Don't you know? Yes. There he is, Lord Nullon. Sorry, I'm just reading through some of the stuff here. I need to delete some of that. Oh, the announcement on the channel. So we got the draft contract across. I looked at it. Got my solicitor to look at it. Everything looked fine. Sent the draft contract back. Just waiting for the actual hard copy of the contract to be sent over for us to sign. Then I'll sign it. And as soon as I sign it, I'll let you know exactly what it is. Oh no, I'm sure. Look, the Discord group know what it is because I've told them. He looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Oh, he's a great man, Nullon. Man City versus Liverpool prediction. 2-2. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2. And I'd take 2-2 if you offered it to me now, because I think it's a must-not-lose game for us. I don't know if it's a must-win game. I don't feel that way, because I think there's more points to be dropped in this title race. What are Liverpool now? On a 10-11 game winning streak in the Premier League. So I think there's a couple more twists and turns to go. And I would take a draw if you offered it to me now. I'd rather a win, of course I would. But yeah, I'd take a draw. Any Carvalho news? Nothing new. He'll be a Liverpool player in the summer. That's the only thing I can say. I don't have that on details or anything like that. No. Random Ric Flair, Craig. If it's a Twitch deal and you read this. Now, I gave you a chance to look into my eyes there and try and read the situation. Hey, look, Jamrock, all good, my man. I hope you don't take this personally if I call you out. No, man. It's conversation. I think, discourse is important, Jamrock. And, mate, we've never been anything but respectful, and I want to give that back to you. So, nah, man, all good. You're a very, very well thought of member of the community, buddy, and I appreciate you challenging me on stuff. And again, I hope you're okay when I challenge back, but nah, all good, my man. Nothing but love. So would you be able to say the news again in the Discord? Yeah, probably. We should know it by now. I mean, I actually posted in during the week about something in there. Is Salah definitely signing? Until the contract is signed, nothing in life will be 100%. Would I put every penny in my bank account on it? Yes, I would. But I'm a gambler, so I'm doing a watch along of the Arsenal game. No, tomorrow night. I'll be on at 5:45 tomorrow to do a preview or prediction for the Benfica game, predicted 11 score prediction. Then myself, Paddy, and Chris will be back on tomorrow night at 8:45. And then Tuesday, watch along on Twitch for the Benfica game, and I'll be back on Twitch then on Wednesday for the Chelsea Real Madrid game. I mean, Connor's not on the chat, so I can't even ask him if I can basically tell you what's going on, but he's not here, so I can't tell him if I'm allowed to give you a fair idea of it. I think you can probably, as Mick said, you can probably read between the lines here and figure out what I'm saying. I didn't know that, Stephen. And I echo prayers to Louis van Gaal, who's announced a cancer battle. I mean, yeah, I hope he's okay. Sincerely hope he's okay. Louis van Gaal is a proper football person. So I actually love that he's so outspoken as well. So yeah, I hope that Louis van Gaal is successful in his battle with cancer. I really do. It's a fucking awful disease, that, isn't it? I mean, my own father-in-law had throat cancer, liver cancer, and esophageal cancer at one point. I thankfully survived it, but I know how debilitating it is, and yeah, disgusting illness. Craig, can't you knock Twitch on the head for Liverpool games? So look, I'll be very honest with you about Twitch and the game. So for us as a channel, YouTube watch-alongs don't really bring in much revenue without sponsorship. So sponsorship is how a channel of our size is able to employ Paddy and Chris and pay Connor and stuff like that. So without sponsorship for watch-alongs on YouTube, we just don't see the returns. The current agreement that we have and many others have with Twitch is something called an accelerator program, where you get certain financial rewards for hitting amounts of watch time and minutes and stuff like that. Now, these are only shorter term deals for 3 months usually when you go onto Twitch. So for us, we don't have sponsorship on board for any of the domestic cup games or any of the Champions League games. So for us to financially stay viable and get to a position where in the summer hopefully I can go full time with this, we need to start putting some money in the bank. So for us, it's financially better to be on Twitch for the games we don't have sponsorship on, and that's the black and white of it, in all honesty. If one of three, Salah, Mane or Firmino, who do I think would leave? Mane would be my guess. When is FIFA? You know what? I did out the schedule this week, Isa and or Isa. I'm not sure which way I should pronounce that. Sorry, I can't remember. I'm off on Saturday. No, Friday. Actually, I'm off. So potentially on Friday. Would you rather Klopp extend contract or Salah's contract? Klopp. If I had to pick one, Klopp. There's nobody at the club more important than Klopp for me. Would I sell Mane? No, I'd like 3 of them to stay. I think they all have more years left in their legs. I love the 5 forwards we have right now. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, both 25 years of age, youngish for forwards, and then the 3 experienced forwards we have, Mane, Salah, Firmino. I'd love them all to stay, because what a collection of 5 forwards that is. I mean, phenomenal. What's your best advice to get out of a mental hole? Look, some things help. Exercise helps. Look, clearly I don't do much of that. Does help. A change of scenery, which is why I often go on holidays, Leo, for a bit of sun, because that helps me massively with my mental health. But also, I see a psychologist regularly. I haven't seen one for a few months. I'm going to be back seeing him weekly from the start of May. And I need that in my life to keep balanced. I need to see a psychologist for my mental health. So other than that, mate, I would certainly say speak to someone, explain how you're feeling, and get professional advice. Just followed on Twitch. Thank you so much, Daniel. David as well said Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. We follow you anyway. You've no idea how much that I appreciate that. Genuinely. Like, it means a lot to us that you guys will... Some people download an app that they don't have or have never had just to support the channel. And I tell you what, it means more than you'll ever know to me personally. Somebody who suffers with confidence issues, to think that people will go out of their way and spend time to interact. Oh God, it means a lot. It really does. D-Tacky said Louis van Gaal news is terrible. It is. And again, I hope to God he makes a full recovery. Manuel Federico said agree 100% with you. Thank you, Manuel. Top man. What the hell is Twitch? I mean, Richard, I'm a boomer, man. So if I wasn't in the industry, I probably wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo what Twitch is. So Twitch started out as a gaming streaming platform. It's owned by Amazon. So that's why if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free Twitch subscription each month as part of that. So it's owned by Amazon, so it's got great backing. And they are known for being a platform for gamers to stream their gaming on and interact and stuff like that. But in the past year or two, they've been looking to really push the sports side of Twitch and expand it. Now, look, going up against YouTube is massive because YouTube is all conquering. So you might have seen, if you are on Twitch, you will have seen perhaps Fabrizio Romano on Twitch as an example, doing his transfer shows or playing some FIFA, stuff like that. So they're trying to push the sports side of the world out, and that's where we come in. Dylan said, Craig, every day I'm looking forward to the streams. Never forget how important this is. Do you know what I struggle with the most of it all, Dylan, is, and I listened to a Mr. Beast's podcast with Joe Rogan on the flight home the other night, and firstly, wow, I mean, fuck me, what a man he is, Mr. Beast, absolute legend. But what stood out to me, what I took from that, was the cultural differences between how your generation, because I'm sure a lot of you guys and girls watching are a lot younger than I am. Some of you aren't, some of you are the same age or older, but just to hear Mr. Beast say that his entire life has been consuming YouTube content, so doesn't watch too many movies, you know, that's his culture, that's how he consumes information. You know, the internet wasn't even around when I was growing up, let alone YouTube, or let alone YouTube being able to be a potential job. So for me, I struggle to get my head around why the fuck anybody tunes in to watch anything I have to say or any content that we make. I struggle with that massively because it's just so new and scary to me, because I consume things the old-fashioned way. Obviously, except food, which I consume immensely. But, you know, I consumed videos, DVDs. I remember tapes, I remember mini discs, I remember CDs, then MP3s, MP4s, and the evolution of technology and the evolution of how we can reach each other and get points across. It's scary and it's great, and I love it. And I'm still trying to find my way in this mad little fucking world and this ecosystem. Would you prefer to have Mane with us and start Diaz more, or keep him? I want to keep him. I love the lads. And look, they're 29 years of age. Some of them may be 30 now. But, yeah, we're not talking about players here who are 36, 37. Look at what Robert Lewandowski is currently doing at his age. I think he's 34, if my memory's right, at Bayern Munich. It's phenomenal. And, you know, look at how well Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah and Bobby Firmino look after themselves physically. It's inspiring. And the way players are elongating their careers through eating better and living healthier, and how the advances in nutrition and sports science have allowed these people to try things like yoga and Pilates and all these core strengthening exercises. It's phenomenal. So 29, 30, I think they all have 4 or 5 years left in them. Now, the question from the club's perspective is weighing up the contract renewal against the fact that they will most likely have, if they stay for a new deal, no sell-on value at the end of it. You know, that's a square I can't, or a circle I can't square. Craig, you went on holiday for so long. I was 10 days. Used to 10 days, which isn't too long. And I'll be away in September for another week because I like to book the next holiday when we're away. So I looked when there's usually an international break in October, but because it's a change season with the World Cup being a Winter World Cup, there's an international break in September. So I'll be going away for a week in September. Do you think if we win at the Etihad, we win the league? Yes, I do. 100%. What's more likely, a Salah contract or an Anfield agenda Twitch deal? Mohamed Salah contract at Liverpool. But I wouldn't bet against either. Lucky man always on holidays. Nah, man, look, we're boring ass people, myself and my wife. We don't go out, we don't drink, we don't smoke cigarettes, and we've no social lives, and we try and save 80 or 100 quid a week all year round and bring the kids away on a couple of holidays to try and make memories, because I think it's important. When I look back at my life, I don't want to look back and not remember the time spent with family away, create memories. It's really important to me because I lost both my parents at a relatively young age, so I want to make memories with my kids. And we don't do anything too special. Like, we rent a house, hire a car, and sit by the pool and just chill. Thank you, Lee Mansell. Really kind of you. Craig, you've definitely got to deal with Twitch. Had a cheeky smile there. No comment. This is Andrew Garfield all over again. I don't know what an Andrew Garfield is, mate. Sorry. YouTube boxing shorts, 39.1 by the way. Legend. Yeah, I am. My wife 40, but I'm 39.1, definitely. You're a really nice guy, Craig. Thank you, Jack. I'm a gobby fool at times, but I've got a good heart. I try my best. Why don't you get onto the overlap? Is that the overlap Gary Neville's podcast thing? Like, to be honest with you, like, I don't get many opportunities on that like that. I don't, I'm not saying I should or shouldn't. I'm just saying they don't come my way. Like, so everybody and his dog in the football content world has been on the Happy Hour podcast, except me, and I'd love to because I love Jack. I think he's brilliant. Jack Mate's amazing. I had him on our show and he was brilliant. I love Stevie as well. I never got asked to play in any of the charity games either or manage any of them. I never get asked to go on, like, who else's podcast? I've never been on the Kickoff, obviously. I've never been asked to go on Ben, what's his name again? I'm drawing a blank here at the minute. Ben Foster, sorry, my apologies, Mr. Foster. Yeah, I've never been asked to go on there, even though, I feel like I could add to his goalkeeping. I'm only joking. I'd love to go and talk with Ben Foster as well. I mean, I do all of these things, but I can't just knock on the door and go, let me in. What do I think of Brentford destroying Chelsea? I'm delighted for Brentford fans. I'm nothing against Chelsea. They're a great club. Defending Club World Cup champions, defending European champions. But that's why I like football. It's moments like that is why Super Leagues can't happen, in my eyes. Because we want those days. We want the Premier League to be capable of throwing up those type of results. So yeah, it's amazing. And what a result for them. 4-1. Nuts. Oh, okay. So the Andrew Garfield thing is that he kept saying, someone put it in Discord there, that he wasn't in the new Spider-Man movie. Oh, right, fair enough. I'm not in the new Spider-Man movie. Redmen TV and the kickoff too. I mean, look, to be fair, why the fuck would I go? Why would I need to go on Redmen TV? I already have a platform for Liverpool content that I'm happy with. And we're very different in the way we produce content. Redmen do things very well in their own way. I respect what they do. Of course I do. But I like our platform. I like what we do. I like the way we make content for us. But again, nothing but very respectful of Chris and Paul and what they've achieved. Is Mo Salah close to signing the contract 100%? Is he close to signing the contract 100%? I don't know about when he will sign it, but has it been agreed? I would say absolutely that's a case. Yes, you know, if it's signed in the next week or two, I can't say when, but yes, I would be certainly on board with saying it's done. I love the Anfield Wrap, says YouTube Boxing Shorts. Oh, and let me just take a second to speak about the Anfield Wrap. In my mind, again, I've never had any interaction with the lads at the Anfield Wrap. But for me, I think the Anfield Wrap are the best fan content from any club, anywhere in the world, bar none. I think what Gibbo and what Neil and what the Robbo and the lads have done at the Anfield Wrap is quite simply sensational. I think they're the benchmark for me of football fan content. They are phenomenal lads. They took a chance, backed themselves, and they've created a fantastic business and a fantastic company, and they produce sublime stuff. They are the creme de la creme for me of football fan content. Huge fan. I had a top player subscription for years. Until I just didn't have enough time to take in all the content. But yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We're so blessed as football fans, as Liverpool fans as well, to have so many great content creators out there. Like, I mean, the lads over at Coppish, I love the lads at Coppish as well. I think Drifty and Matt and Callum make great content on Coppish, and really lovely lads. Yeah, we're just blessed as Liverpool football fans. There's a lot of great content creators out there that give a difference of opinions in a different way, and there's something for everybody. And I'm sure that as time goes on, that's only going to increase. Do I like the Irish guy? Yeah, Michael Ramsey is an absolutely top fella. Did a couple of videos with Michael. Had no doubt that when he was going to move on from HRTC Sport that he'd be successful in his own right and what he does with the Irish Guys channel. Yeah, top lad, doing brilliant stuff, and it's good to see people. It's good to see good people do well in life, and I would certainly say that Jack Mate and him and Goldbridge, to me, all very good people that I wish every success, and I'll cheer them on all the way. Are you a full-time YouTuber or have you got other work? No, I don't take an income from YouTube, mate. I am. I don't have a job. I'm on disability for, as I've said before. In the summer, I hope that I will be a full-time YouTuber or a full-time content creator in the summer. Hopefully that'll happen. We're getting close to that point. Do I actually like Redmen TV? I don't watch too much of their stuff. Not because of that. I just don't watch a lot of stuff on YouTube and stuff really outside of IFL TV. Some Joe Rogan clips, happy hour clips, some stuff from Goldberg in the United Stand. I don't really consume much YouTube, so it's not that I don't like Redmen TV. I don't watch much stuff like that, so unless I see it scrolling past something, generally not. Would you start a podcast? It's how I started in this whole thing, Dylan. I started out... Actually, no, I'm lying to you. I started out writing articles for... what were their names? Anfield Index, sorry. Apologies, guys, and Neil, I just had a mind fart there. Yeah, I started out writing articles for Anfield Index, and then when you wrote articles on Anfield Index at the time when I was there, I didn't even use my real name, actually. I used Cop Jaffer at the time because I was too scared to use my real name because, as I said before, I've got no confidence. So, wrote articles for them. They went okay. Didn't get slaughtered for them on social media or anything like that. So, that was encouraging. And then when you write articles for them, or at least when I was there, they had a podcast once a week called the Writers Podcast, which was produced by Nina, or Cowser Soze. She's one of the nicest people I've met in the industry as well. Lovely, lovely person. So did that podcast, threw up in the bathroom before my first one. Did that. But something stood out to me when I was doing their podcasts. What stood out to me at the time was everybody was agreeing with each other, which is a natural thing because you want to get on with everyone that you're doing stuff with. But I'm a cunt, and I like challenging people, and I like to be challenged by people. So I had an idea that I could do my own thing, but I didn't know how the fuck to go about it. I didn't know how to make a podcast, didn't know how to record a podcast. Learned, was taught by somebody. Made a podcast. And when you do a podcast, you chuck it out there into the world and you hope it does all right, but you've no real idea if it has or hasn't in real time. You get your stats and stuff, but there's no interaction. So Connor said, do YouTube. I said, no, I'm too old. He said, give it a bash. I had never watched football fan content on YouTube other than clips I'd seen of Goldbridge on Twitter. So I went on to do my first ever stream and I didn't know what to do. So I just started interacting with comments. There's only a handful of people in the chat, but it felt natural to me to talk to everybody. And people were like, oh, you're actually replying and you're talking back. And I just thought, isn't this what everybody does? Because it just felt natural. So it came easy to me then, and I enjoyed it. And I loved that people could come back at me and we could banter and stuff. And we used to do 3.5 hour streams at times. And I loved it. And I never thought at the time that we would get to a point where we have over 100,000 subscribers and where we can, have the experiences that we've had. It's brilliant. How did you meet Connor? So when we had the podcast, I needed, again, as you know, I'm not very technically minded. So we needed some images for the podcast to put them up on Apple, on iTunes and stuff like that. So I asked for a graphic designer. I put a tweet out saying, "Does any graphic designers be able to help us out?" Connor was actually the second guy that replied. I always thought that he'd seen the post, but he actually hadn't seen the post. He just chanced his arm and had emailed a load of content creators to see if they needed help. So the first guy flaked. I asked Connor to do it. Connor did it really well. Got to know what a lovely young man he was, how driven he was, how committed he was to improving himself, and how committed he was to learning what he was doing. And he was in college studying something that would have led into this type of industry anyway. And yeah, just blown away by his dedication and his work ethic. So yeah, that was it. Then we just evolved. Do I like Grizz Khan? I gave Grizz Khan his first chance at making content, actually. And we fell out. But we've made up since. I don't speak to him very often, but there's certainly no hard feelings from me with Grizz. If mistakes are made in life and somebody apologises, I'm always the first one to think you should say, no problem, we live and learn. So yeah, I have no bad feelings towards Grizz whatsoever. How did Chris and Paddy come on board? So Paddy was one that actually you guys kept saying you should do stuff with Paddy Murphy from TikTok. You should do stuff with Paddy Murphy from TikTok. And I hadn't even been on TikTok at that point. So I then went to search who Paddy Murphy was. And I seen some of it. But some of the first stuff I seen with Paddy, he was goading people into it. He was baiting people, basically. And I didn't know if it would fit in with what we were doing. But then I watched more of his stuff and I got to see more about Paddy as a person and not just short clips. And I realised that he was extremely funny. He was extremely warm-hearted. He was extremely charismatic, and he was Irish. And I won't lie, that was a big appeal, because if he's Irish, the odds are it's easier for us to meet and do stuff together. So Paddy was something that we always had at the back of our mind, but you don't want to intrude on somebody else's content creation and It just worked out, basically. Paddy came on board, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but I think he'll be the first one to admit it, but Paddy's the type of fella that needs to kick up the arse every now and again, because he can get lazy. And in this industry, you can't be lazy. I'm a lazy bastard in life, and I mean extremely lazy. But in this, I know you got to graft. You got to put the effort in. And so I think Paddy needed that. He needed somebody that would make sure he has the work ethic. And he's been phenomenal. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about Paddy. He's a lovely, lovely guy. And Chris was actually all Connor. Because Connor often sends me little video clips of people. And I would say, sometimes I think they're too polished. Sometimes I think they're brilliant. Sometimes I think they're shit. And my first thoughts on Chris was that he was too polished. So I looked, and I knew by watching a minute of Chris that he'd been in college studying it. I just knew from the way he presented. But I watched more of it. I spoke with him. And it was actually only doing a show with Chris for the first time that I realised he's really good fun. And he isn't so polished. Like, he's polished, but he's not rigid, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, it's just brilliant. Honestly, they're both amazing lads, and very grateful to have them on board. I'm very lucky to be able to talk football with two really, really lovely young men. Only just found you. Is it true? Is it true? Mo signing a new contract? I believe so, yes. I don't know when he'll sign it, mate. Sorry, I don't want to say that, but yes, he is going to sign a new contract. I've been saying this for ages, because I was told it a while ago, but until it's signed, then we'll probably celebrate. Opinions on Rants and Bants. I've never had any dealings with him, never in any shape. Obviously, I've done stuff with Expressions before, his brother, but I've never done anything with Rants or never had any interactions with him. I don't think even on social media. So I don't really have any views on him. I don't know too much about him, to be honest. Other than, of course, he does really well in the content world. But other than that, I don't know too much about the man. Do you know Dom Rich, the City fan? Yes, I do. I knew Dom Rich. He's from New York, if my memory's right. I did a couple of things with Dom before, but then I noticed some really snidey stuff towards Liverpool that I thought was beyond the Dom that I'd seen. Because the Dom that I spoke to was lovely. Really nice guy, very easy to speak to. But I seen a side of him that I didn't think existed. Not on a personal level, just towards football. I would pair Jack Gill and Chris Stonage. Look, I mean, I'm hoping that Jack comes back on the channel down the line. Certainly, we've kept that channel of communication open with Jack. We love Jack Gill. But his internet connection was horrendous. And we need to get that sorted. Look, this has been great fun. I've really enjoyed this long stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am going to... I'm going to go and watch some TV. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, drop a like on the video if you can for me. Hit that subscribe button. I will see you all tomorrow, 5:45 or 8:45 on YouTube. And then we'll build up to the game on Tuesday. Hussein, how are you, my man? Lots of love over to you as well. I hope you're well over there in Iraq. Lots of love. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, look, see you guys soon. Again, drop a like on the video. Thank you to our sponsor, Surfshark, as well. You can get 83% off and 3 months extra free, meaning you get 15 months for the price of 12 with the link in the description. The world's best VPN provider. In my eyes, they've got uncrackable encryption, the most secure VPN protocols. I use them for Canadian Zone, for US Netflix, and lots of other stuff. And yeah, thank you to those guys, and we will see you tomorrow.